Guardians get it done again last night, guys. They win it 3-2. Slade Ciccone, who's obviously not been very good, pitched pretty well yesterday against a very bad Angels team.
Yeah.
He was excited that he still couldn't get through 5 innings, which is unbelievable. But even though he didn't give up any runs, but for him, it feels weird to say a guy pitched well when he only pitched 4 innings. But
7 Ks
for him, that's good, and he was obviously very excited after the game that he struck out Mike Trout, which is certainly, I get it. Mike Trout's one of the greatest players of all time. The bullpen, for the most part, did the job. Angel Martinez hit a home run. He almost hit another one, got robbed of a home run by Joe Adell. And
Does he have the most home run robberies in a single season ever, and it's only a quarter of the way in?
He had 3 in one game.
I think he has 5 now in the season.
Yeah, he's a great defender. And then Cade Smith gets a 4-out save, which these days you don't see that all that often.
No.
Back in the day, you used to see it all the time, but they don't do that very often. But I mean, it's a whole hum series. You're playing the Angels. It's not very exciting. But we talked about this stretch where you had to take advantage of the bad opponents. They didn't against the Twins. They lost 2 or 3, and hopefully today they can sweep the Angels.
Yeah, big picture, it's most important that Ciccone was better. Not great, but better.
Yeah.
You want him to stay in the rotation. You want him to improve. There's a lot of guys that have a tough start to the season and bounce back. So stacking these wins. Look, the Guardians eventually, if they're going to win anything, have to be better offensively. Have to figure out a lot of things. But for right now, just win series. Just stay above 500, and you've got the breathing room. You got plenty of season left. We're not even to mid-May.
Yeah, I mean, I think the standings there just told us all we need to know about this team and what we got to do. It's a pretty mid central right now, and I don't think it's going to.
Mid is being positive.
It's below mid. How about that?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to take much to win this division above 500.
Yeah.
And the Guardians right now, 23 and 21, are sitting in the catbird seat. So just keep it going. Zach hit it on the head. You got to have more offense, but the pitching's been good.
The pitching's been excellent. I bring up that stat again. There it is. I didn't know that. 29 and 4 at home against the Angels. Now the Angels obviously have been bad, but that's still pretty remarkable stretch.
I mean, the Angels have had 2 of the best players of our generation on those teams.
Yeah, they still were bad.
I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying that's how bad.
In fact, at times not at the same time. They've had 3 of the best players because they had Trout, then they had Trout and Pujols, then they had Trout and Ohtani.
Yeah.
So
now they got Mike Trout turning into Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Because he's so huge?
No,
he just makes a lot of money on a bad team.
Toiling away on this team.
I'd love to see him get traded this year and play on a contender. He's only played in 3 playoff games in his career.
Right.
And they lost them all.
And he's still is he still like
when he's healthy, he's still great. He's not the best player in baseball anymore.
Is he 30?
He's probably he's older than that.
Yeah,
How old
is
is Trout? 33, 34?
Mike Trout, according to ESPN, which I don't know why that would lie.
I don't know why you say it.
34 years old.
He's 34?
Yeah. He's been around a while.
Turns 35 later this year.
Yeah.
Didn't he make his debut when he was like 20?
Yeah.
Like he was one of the guys that didn't really have to spend much time in the minors.
Yeah.
His first season, he played in 2011, but 2012 was his first real season.
Mm-hmm. So 20 years old when he did.
Where's the time go, man? Because I remember when we started the show, he was just a baby in the majors, and here we are.
Here we are.
Getting old.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get to sweep, right? Just stack these wins and get some
Parker
momentum.
Messick pitching today, who's been great.
Did you guys have a problem with James Harden wearing an Angels hat?
No, why did people?
That was so. By the way,
so stupid.
Can I add a little context to that?
Sure.
Yeah. Who asked the question?
It was Joe Reedy, but James and Donovan were doing post-game podium together.
Yeah.
James got in there, and Donovan got caught up signing autographs on the way in. So we hadn't started. This was not like a raise your hand and ask a question.
Yeah.
This was James was saying, Donovan, he literally just, before Joe Reedy asked the question, he looks at all and goes, Don, come on, we're trying to get out of here, man. He turns back, and then Joe Reedy was like, James, you got the Angels hat on. You a fan? They're in town this week. And he was like, I just like the hat.
Oh, so it was a harmless question. He wasn't like doing a gotcha.
No. It wasn't like a, hey, I'm getting called on. I'm using my question to ask him about his hat.
Right. He wasn't saying, why are you wearing an Angels hat?
No, people turned it into like a culture race thing. And Joe, like, as someone who was sitting, Joe Reedy was in the seat right next to me.
Yeah.
This was
Joe. It was just an off the cuff, nothing.
But we were just making small talk with James beforehand.
Yeah.
And the Angels happen to be in town, and James is from Southern California.
Right. And even if James was an Angels fan, who cares?
Right.
But
I don't care.
Well, it turned into like a.
We know people wear hats.
It turned into a whole thing. It wasn't at all.
Sure.
Yeah,
Was James annoyed by the question?
No.
No, James
Okay,
was
so
like,
why did fans make something of it?
Well, Mike just laid it out.
Yeah,
'Cause
okay.
fans want to make everything about
Right.
stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
no, so when it got clipped, it looked like Joe had asked him to raise his
Like
hand.
it was a
That
gotcha
one of his
question.
questions.
It wasn't a gotcha question.
But no, I don't think they took it as a gotcha. I think they took it as like a lack of racial or lack
Awareness?
of cultural awareness.
But it wasn't even using a press conference question, which
Yeah,
is most
it's
important.
stupid. All right, it's a nothing
Conversation.
burger. so who
It
cares
was
about
an
that?
absolute nothing burger. No.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, who are they playing after the Angels? I'm drawing a blank. I know
The Reds. The Reds.
the
the
Reds,
Reds.
right.
And Friday's game is on WKYC. By the
Right.
way, coverage begins at 7 o'clock, so make sure you guys tune in for the home opener of
Yeah.
this series. I guess the opener of the series. It's at
And the
Guardian
Reds
Stadium,
finally
but-
got a win here. They
Yes.
had been in a big losing streak.
Friday night, 2 games at the same time, right next to each other, right down the street here. It's going to be wild.
That's true. That stinks that it's the same time. Well, we don't know. Do we know the time yet?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Same time.
7 o'clock for Game 6.
Oh, it
Yes.
is 7 o'clock?
7
because
o'clock.
there's only one. Oh, I'm surprised they didn't play 8 since it's only one game. Oh, no, there's
I
two
would like
games.
to go Friday night.
They're moving
I
the
don't
other
think it's-
series
I
to
don't think
Friday,
it's this
right? Or
I
no?
don't know. I just know for a fact it is confirmed that on
It's 7
Friday,
o'clock.
the Cavs play Game 6.
At 7 o'clock.
At
And
7
you're right,
o'clock.
San Antonio has been moved to Friday as well, 9:30.
So they're getting 2 days off. Do we know what time Game 7 would be if there is a Game 7?
No, it depends on what happens in these games on
Yeah, it
Friday
depends.
night.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're talking schedule, Mike.